Because it's not morning, I can't say good morning, and if I don't see you, good
Well,
afternoon, good evening, and good
just
night.
say good day. I think that covers it all, right?
All right. Good day, Mike. How are you?
Thank you. Good day to you, Ken. Nice to see you again.
I had three cortisone shots today in my wrists.
Three? What?
One here because I got this cyst in my and he's a great doctor, and he says, yeah, he says, I did an X-ray of your left hand, and it's just as bad as your right hand. It just doesn't do the same thing because that's liquid, and the other is just plain pain. It's like, oh, thanks, but man,
Well, you say that, and here I
uh,
am wearing this now. And I had somebody say to me yesterday, did you hurt your wrist or no? And what's going on? And I said, well, it's old age. It's arthritis in my thumb. It's right here. Boy, we are two old fucks
and I
on
said to him,
on YouTube talking about how old we are.
and by the way, he's a great doctor, Dr. Turco. He's that plastic hand.
Dr. Vinny Boom Bots, Rodney Dangerfield's doctor.
I said to him, okay, I said, look, so it used to just hurt here. Now it's hurting here. It's hurting here. He goes, he's nodding. He says, yeah, it's all coming from your wrist.
I just came in from my motorcycle and I was on it for about an hour. And
Uh,
if I had a hacksaw right now, I would just cut my thumb right off.
I hear you, man. Well, look, at least we're not Grand Platner. And we
Oh
don't
my
have to deal
God.
with it. You know, uh, I mean, he can't afford another shoe dropping. And,
What
you know,
what kind of shoe? Any shoe or a
any
specific shoe?
any shoe that's a disparagement of his character. Because here's when he went down to DC and talked to the senators, he basically said, the worst things you heard about me aren't true.
Right.
That that that's not an answer.
Right. Apparently, he was in a meeting with Liz Warren and Chuck Schumer and some others, I guess, and they pressed him because they've backed him, and he said, "No, that's it." And
So the right answer is here's the right answer. If I was an experienced politician, I would have come out at the beginning and just laid all my dirty laundry out. But I'm not a polished politician. In hindsight, that's what I should have done. And you know what? I've made some really stupid mistakes, and I've learned from them. And I was wrong, and I apologize. And I can be a better man, and I am a better man. And
at what point do what we call, or you just called, stupid mistakes transcend being stupid mistakes and being real? I mean, really, really something that is a very wide open door into your character and what your makeup is. And when you are on this app
yeah,
called Kick in a towel with that picture,
I
you
hear you.
you're giving off one connotation there, and that's that I want to fuck some underage child. And there
I
isn't
started
any
thinking
other
about this app.
connotation there at all.
Does this app have young underage?
Yes, it is called a predator's paradise by some people.
Yikes. I didn't know that. I don't know what his excuse. I mean, he's saying it's not true. But don't
He's
you
on
know?
his profile as of yesterday was still there.
Yeah, but don't forget Carlos Danger. I mean,
Uh,
here's so valid point. Here's my answer. I think people can be rehabilitated. The problem is, let me give you a great example. George Bush, we talked about that last time. George Bush was an alcoholic, and he became sober. I mean, you admire him more. You admire him for overcoming it.
I think we're talking about apples and manholes all over
Absolutely.
again.
No, you don't understand. I agree with you. And I think that you, but what I'm saying is, if he did bad things like an OUI while he was an alcoholic, you can be rehabilitated. First of all, it was a youthful discretion. I mean,
Indiscretion. Yeah.
and he got it's a combination of what is it? When did it happen? How do you address it? And how do you prove not future rehabilitation? The problem is Platner did this 2 years ago, 3 years ago. This is not a youthful indiscretion.
No,
This is
no.
his character. And look, I don't understand war because I would never go into a war because I'd get killed within 3 minutes. I understand post-traumatic stress. and you can make some excuses for a while. But at some point, you grapple with your demons and you don't go into politics for therapy. That's not what politics are for. And so,
No, and the list of things is so long now and so extensive and so wide ranging. There are so many things all over the place that we've got lies that are begetting us lies that are begetting us lies, and we're getting some real behind the scenes views of what this guy is all about. And I think the rush to trot this guy out there as a candidate against Senator Susan Collins, who, by the way, as somebody pointed out, is one of the most moderate Republicans in the Senate, if not the most moderate Republican. She's rubber stamped every Democratic president's Supreme Court nominee all the time. And the rush to go take her down has brought the Democratic Party to Graham Platner. Even Janet Mills, it was unpalatable to the Democrats who have been taken over. Your party's been taken over by the far, 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 far,
well,
far
not
right
yet,
and
not yet.
left you behind. Yes, they
Not
have.
yet.
Yes, it has.
I don't think so. I don't agree. Let me say something about Susan Collins. I don't give Susan Collins the pass that you give her. I think that she's been in the Senate for a long time. And when you're in the Senate and that seniority, you can do a lot of things for your state. She certainly has character, no doubt about it. But she's also supported Donald Trump. She's bucked him a few times, but not enough. And she's
Yeah,
bucked him when it didn't matter. But
she
that's not to me.
supports the Republican, the same party president that she's in.
I
What's
agree.
what's the
Well,
harm in
because
that?
look at what True. Let
What
me
do you
give you an
want her to
example.
do?
Look at John True, what he did about the slush fund. No, about the nomination, the new nomination for the NIA, the National Security Advisor. Okay, the guy that Trump just nominated. Right? He came out and said, "No, no, no, no. We're not going to weaponize this appointment." That's John True, Speaker, the Majority Leader of the Republican Party in the Senate. Immediately came out and said no. Now, John True has not been done enough to say no to Donald Trump. But Susan Collins has not really stood up to Donald Trump. Yes, she has not voted for him 100% of the time. I give her that. But generally speaking, she's voted against him when it didn't matter.
All right. So, and Susan Collins is not the issue here. The issue here is the guy who is now the leading we're less than a week away from the primary, and this guy is bruised and battered.
I agree.
And the polling numbers are starting to drop already. And what's going to drop next? Now, just before we went on to do this podcast, there's a tweet that is out from a very reputable source that says that there's more coming, and it's bad when it comes to Graham Platner. In fact, it was described in a tweet as quote SA apostrophe deed someone. That's sexually assaulted someone. I've heard
So,
this. I've heard this from some people as well about a bar that Mr. Platner frequented and in fact worked at in D.C. called the Tune
I've
Inn.
heard all about that. I've heard all about
And
that. He talked
apparently,
about that on Jon Stewart's interview with him, where
well,
he got
he
to
he
know
didn't talk.
politicians.
He didn't tell everything apparently. So so if that comes out, can he survive that?
So, no, and so it depends on what he should have said to the senators in D.C. is there's nothing else out there. He didn't say that, which to me is telling. Doesn't surprise me. There's other things out there. He cannot. No. Here's what I think is gonna happen. We got a primary next Tuesday. He's not the only person on the ballot. Janet Mills is on the ballot. Janet Mills is not going to win. Is not. I mean, she's not going to win the nomination. But what happens if she gets 25, 30% of the vote? What message does that send to the Democratic Party here in Maine? Okay. And does anybody say to him, can anybody convince him to drop out? Because you know what? Wouldn't Jared Golden be an ideal replacement candidate?
He'd be perfect.
Talk him to do it.
He'd be perfect,
And,
and
and
he'd be running against his former boss.
and I'm not saying he beat. Look, I've always said it's a toss-up. even with Platner, because what I feared with Platner's nomination was that the Republicans who would stay home because they were dissatisfied with Susan for whatever reason would stay home and not vote. The way that Susan loses is not by Platner beating her, but by Republicans not coming out to vote for her. And
And
that
I
would
can't
happen with
imagine Republicans in this context are not going to come out and vote
right. With
for
Janet
Susan Collins.
Mills, a lot of Republicans would have stayed home because they can tolerate Janet Mills. They may not like her, but they could tolerate her.
I want to back up on Platner to last weekend when he trotted his wife out there in a true hostage video to talk about the situation and how pathetic that I thought that was. I don't care what anyone says to do that to that woman. Look, she married this guy and clearly didn't know everything that he
But
was
she
bringing
also
to the
loves to
table.
look. Look at what
This
Jill.
this
But look
guy
at
this
Jill.
guy with it while they just got me. This is a
I
couple of
know.
newlyweds here. He was fucking everything that moved.
Or
All right,
trying
and
to. We don't know
or
what he did.
trying to, and he trots her out there in a true hostage video to tell everybody how our marriage is no.
Okay, but at the same time, Mike.
No, Platner is a
Okay,
pussy.
but no different than Jill Biden, who comes out and says,
She's
uh,
she's
"I was worried.
delusional.
I was worried he had a stroke," and then you see him saying, "Joe, you answered every question." Excuse
The
me?
thirst
And
for
no, but no
power.
different than Melania. You know, Melania, who we know has not had sex with Donald Trump for 20 years,
We
stands
know
by her
that. How do
man
we know that?
for the same reason we know everything
Oh,
else.
for
Because
fuck's
it's a
sake, Ken, get the
wait,
hell
but
out of
don't
here with
you are
that.
you telling me
That's
you think
absurd.
they have are you telling me you think they have a close, intimate relationship? Have you seen them? Have you seen them when he tries to hold her hand?
I think
Come
they're a
on.
lot closer now than they were the first term.
See, you're drinking the
No,
conservative.
I'm not. I'm going by the eye test.
Here's the bottom line, and this is what I think about this situation. Anybody who says Donald Trump does not have the moral fiber to be the president cannot defend Graham Platner. That to me,
And how
that
many
to me is
times
the
did
issue.
you vote for Bill Clinton?
I also, but twice, but the bad stuff didn't come out until his second term.
So did I. I voted for him twice.
And who called for him to resign? I did.
Right.
Okay,
All
so
right.
no, I would. No, you
We
can't.
play the what about game, and we're going to be chasing our tail.
No, you can't. And I think Republicans who supported Donald Trump, I'm not, look, Donald Trump does not have better morality than Graham Platner has. I'm sorry, he does not.
It's a
I'm not going to
toss up.
compare the two. I'm not going to compare the two, but they're both despicable human beings that aren't fit to hold public office. Period. Period. Okay. And you can't say that Donald Trump, come on. Donald Trump got convicted of raping somebody. Okay. In civil
He
court,
was
got found
convicted in a
guilty.
civil court.
Right.
You
Okay.
know what that means?
That means that he raped this woman. That's what it
No, it
means.
doesn't. No.
So you don't think he raped this woman? This guy has been accused of assaulting
She
women.
is a complete lunatic,
Well,
this woman.
how about the Epstein the victim's allegations that he had sex with him? That's come on, that is absolutely true. Look, you can't defend Donald Trump and attack Graham Platner. I'm not going to let you do that. I'm fine with you saying both of them are morally despicable.
All right, I'm fine with you saying that at least one more of the presidential candidates you voted for has as few morals as Donald Trump has.
Not before I voted for him. That's the difference. I
There were bimbo allegations in '92. I'm not standing by my
Mike,
man.
Mike, in 1996, okay, there were no allegations against him. There were plenty of rumors, but there was nobody who came out and said blah blah blah
Paula,
blah.
what was her name? Jennifer
Jennifer
Flowers.
Flowers. Yeah.
Paul.
And I said when he lied under oath, I said he needs to resign immediately.
All right, so we're getting off the beaten track here.
Yeah.
We've really
Okay.
we've
So I
which
think
is easy to do in the context of
if there's an allegation that he sexually assaulted somebody, uh,
he's got to go.
and the quandary I have had in the past week, because I'm not going to vote, I'm not registered Democrat, so I'm not going to vote in the primary anyway. I couldn't vote for him anyway. My quandary was, do I vote against Susan Collins because I can't vote for Graham Platner? The only way I vote for Graham Platner is if I'm voting against Susan Collins. And do you vote against someone if that requires you to vote for somebody who has no moral fiber, no character, and isn't fit to hold public office? That's that's a tough one.
All right. So part of the problem both you and I have, maybe more so you, is that we don't run around with the average regular Joe or Josephine Mainer on a daily basis.
Josephine.
Um, and so,
Is there any Maynard called Josephine, really?
or whatever. Um, the people that we know and spend time with are political beings, political animals for the most part, and they've already staked their claims one way or the other. So we need to get out of our bubble and find out what Mr. and Mrs. Maine are thinking about this. And I don't know if the primary is the way to.
I think the primary is the best way.
Really?
Because let's see how many votes Janet Mills gets. That is I'm not saying it's an ironclad test, but look, Janet Mills would get 5-10% just because there were people who voted before she got out of the race or suspended her campaign. There's people who vote for her because they recognize her name and doesn't even know anybody's running against her. But I'm talking about 25 or 30%. If you have a 25, 30% vote for Janet Mills, he's toast. He is toast. Susan Collins will win at least a high single digits in a race. And everybody should know that. And the money will dry up.
Yeah, it's a tough spot that Platner had, and people who backed him, who encouraged him to do so. It's a tough spot that he's put everybody in the Democratic Party. But hey, you got to watch for some time. They went out and actively recruited this guy, and they got him.
He doesn't give a shit about anybody else.
Oh, I know that.
These guys, but it's true about almost all. I love Angus King's son saying how proud he is of his father, what a great role model he was.
By the way, don't you, because he's apparently a hockey player, aren't you going to vote for him now?
Well, I thought the manure ad was a little too much, and I think Shanna Bellows
it's right there where Shanna Bellows go jump in the Gulf.
What's almost as bad as her being in a safe house. It's like, wait a minute,
God,
wait a minute, I'm gonna vote for you because you're in a safe house.
Oh my God, that is.
At least Donald Trump comes out and mingles around after people are trying to shoot him. I mean, come on.
That is unbelievable, that spot.
Look, and I have to say, the ad in which the Janet Mills ad for Hannah Pingree, I think, is the best ad I've seen. I think that's a good ad because first of all, Janet Mills endorsement, I think, helps a little bit. You and I've always said they don't make or break the day, but it's better to have them than not have them.
Yeah.
But having, the only candidate that Mills and Platner endorses, I think she may want to take off the Platner part of it. And then Platner endorses, then Platner goes out and endorses 3 of them. It's like, for God's sake. I got to tell you, right now, as I sit here today, I will probably vote for an independent. There's an independent running for Senate. I don't know anything about it, but I'll probably vote for him.
Yeah, and out on my bike just now, and I was out in Fairfield Center, which is in Somerset County, which is in the 2nd congressional district, and Troy Jackson's signs. There weren't many of them, but one of them I slowed down enough to see, and it's got the union thing, the IAA, whatever.
Yeah.
And it got me to thinking: do you know anyone in your life, in your world? I don't. Who is an active union member in the state of Maine? There's not much. There aren't many union shops in the state of Maine. Period. And
Troy Jackson. If Troy Jackson, I probably could vote for Hannah Pingree. I'm not saying I would. I don't think I could vote for Shaw. I don't think I could vote for Bellows. So, and if Troy Jackson got the nomination, I'd vote for Rick Bennett. I'm telling you right now.
By the way, he's officially on the ballot now. That came out yesterday. He got all of his signatures.
But I'm not, I like Garrett Mason. I like doing political brew with him. I think he's a nice guy and a smart guy. I like him. I really do. And I don't believe a lot of the political stuff people say. I think that we get into office, a lot of intelligent people can change once they're in office, you know?
I would certainly find Garrett Mason palatable, more palatable than look, but if
Who's this Ridgely guy?
Ben Midgley, he's Paul LePage's handpicked candidate. Lauren LePage is running his campaign, and he's got a great story. He's come from very modest means.
I hate to say this. He looks like he looks like Beavis or Butthead, one of the two
He
guys.
does. I cannot disagree with you there,
How
Ken.
can I know this is so inappropriate, but
Oh, please be
how
inappropriate.
can you vote for somebody who looks like that? I mean,
Looks like Beavis,
get a
or
haircut at least.
he does have a haircut.
No,
It's
I mean, grow your hair, do something.
well,
You got an angular face. You look like Beavis. I think it's Beavis, but I don't know which
I
one it is.
forget.
I,
Yeah,
I can't vote. I could not support him.
Ken, you're supposed to judge people on the content of their character, not on the color of their skin or what their haircut is.
Well, I don't.
Hey, I always say that Chenna Bellows has a face that looks like a blocked kick. So
You know, the funniest line about faces came from Dave. What was that comedian? Dave Bromberg. Dave, a famous comedian back in the '70s, who said Richard Nixon's face looks like a foot. I thought that was the best description of Dick Nixon I ever saw. All
So
right,
are we gonna come down
yeah.
to a Dr. Shaw versus Bobby Charles gubernatorial race? Where did Bobby Charles come from?
By the way, the use of AI in the anti Bobby Charles commercials.
Oh, I
I mean,
know.
showing them with Biden and you know those pictures
AOC,
are AI.
yeah.
Wow.
And it's ironic because Charles has made a great use of AI on his own stuff online.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, if you are not the brightest voter in the world, and you see a commercial of Bobby Charles taking money from Barack Obama and Joe Biden,
Yeah,
you're gonna believe it.
right.
This story. Wow.
Yeah,
Just wow.
yeah.
I think Shaw will likely be the nominee.
That's
I know Bobby,
incredible to me.
Bobby
That
Charles is leading. It's going to be strange.
it is incredible to me that here in Maine, that a guy who's been here for just a few years and who's screwed over a whole generation of students with the lockouts of schools
Yeah, you know,
and
I don't see
ruined
go
the
down that
economy.
road with me, and you know I don't buy that, but that's okay.
You don't buy that? Well, then what did he do?
I I agree.
Save
I
the kids?
agreed with the health policy that he and Jenna Mills followed. I
Kids,
know you
the
not. I
kids,
know
the
you.
kids were the least susceptible group of people. They basically had 100% survival rate over something that, by the way, there was a 98% survival rate. The whole thing was blown out of proportion.
Mike,
Mills and Shaw were the worst.
you and I don't agree about this. We will never agree about this, and I think you're wrong.
How
But
many how many shots did you get?
I've gotten like 4 so far, maybe 5.
Wow, that's just
I got to
crazy.
go get a booster too.
I honestly,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got a booster for you right
Hey,
here.
if I can get 3 cortisone
All
shots,
right, I give you that. Having
all right. Before we
65-year-old
go,
thumbs, I got some. We got to mention something.
the pickleball. We got to do the
All
pickleball.
right. So the lawless hooligans of pickleball strike again. Here's one from the Mid-Coast Villager that someone sent me because they know you're a pickleball player. Neighbors of a Belfast City park say nonstop noise from the park's pickleball courts is making their house uninhabitable and causing them mental distress. Ken, defend your pickleball life right here and now.
So first of all, the word thrack was a very good description of the wiffle ball hitting the paddle. It is loud and it is obnoxious. Go get fucked if you don't like it. That's my defense.
Ow, ow, you made me hurt my thumb. Some of the comments under, under this are one of the people said, "Does the sound of a basketball bouncing bother them? Uh, why don't you build a data center next to it? That will filter out the pickleball court noise."
I had a law partner one time who will go nameless who hated the smell of popcorn. And when somebody would go in the
Who
kitchen,
hates the smell of popcorn?
not me. In fact, my grandson has perfected popcorn, and I have a cup of it every day. But when people would go in the kitchen and make popcorn, he would say, how insensitive! The smell is offensive. I can't stand it.
Wow.
And my answer was, well, it's time for you to go home because I love popcorn. I love the smell of popcorn. So I do understand that it is loud and obnoxious, but you don't play at midnight. You can put some, remember, I used to live in a house that had a racetrack next door to me, and the decibel level was about 130. Okay. There are sound parameters. Pickleball doesn't come, they may be annoying, but people don't play after, I mean, the sun goes down at 7. So what do you know,
So the person or persons who finally is able to invent a noiseless pickleball is going to become a billionaire.
well, funny you should say that. They have a sound reducing pickleball and a sound reducing paddle. Both of them aren't worth playing with. The sound reducing ball does not bounce, so it's like it
All
throws
right.
off the game.
By the time, let's finish up with the lawless hooligans of pickleball players. And by the time we're back again next week, the primary will have occurred. Who's going to win the Democratic nomination for governor?
Oh, for governor,
Dr. Shaw?
I think so.
Okay.
And
Who's
you know
going to,
what? And the fact that he's attacking Republicans in his ads shows a confidence that belies comprehension on my
all
part.
right, who's going to win the Republican nomination for governor?
I think Bobby Charles.
Okay. All right. I am going to pick an upset. I think Hannah Pingree is going to upset Dr. Shaw.
Okay.
And I think Garrett Mason somehow, some way is going to be the Republican nominee.
I
So
would much prefer Hannah and Garrett to Shaw and
Bobby Charles.
Bobby Charles.
Yeah.
And who's going to win the nomination for the Senate?
It's going to be a squeaker, but it'll be
Graham.
Graham Platner,
So how much is Janet Mills going to get?
22%.
If she gets 22%,
What does that mean?
that's a red flag in America.
Hmm.
So, all right, I'm looking forward to next week. So Wednesday or Thursday, let's make sure all the results are in before we
Yep.
do
We
a
should be able,
podcast.
and I want to talk about early voting next week as well.
All
Another
right,
thing that drives me friggin' crazy.
all right. You have a great week, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, see ya.